In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to install OpenCart manually. Now, the first thing we need to do is go to OpenCart.com and download the latest version of OpenCart. Now, here on OpenCart, we go to their horizontal navigation bar and we select the download. Then we can see the latest version here is version 2.0.3.1, and just under the action column here, we click download. Now, some people may have their computer set up that any downloads go straight to their download folder. I have mine set up that my computer always asks where to save the file to when I click a download file. So I'm just going to save it to the desktop and click save, and as we can see down here, the file has been downloaded in a zip format. Now we're going to need to unzip that file, so we go to our desktop, and here on the desktop we can see our zip file here. So I'm just going to right click this file, come down here and click open with Windows Explorer. Now here it's open, so we've got to just drag it back out to the desktop. Now the next thing we're going to do is get a piece of free file transfer protocol, or FTP software, and that's going to be needed to transfer the files and folders from the OpenCart files here to our hosting account. So the software I use is FileZilla. Now to go to FileZilla, you just go to filezilla-project.org, and from here we can select our download. So we can download here for Windows only, or we can download it here if we're using a Mac, etc. So I've already got FileZilla on my PC, so I'm not just going to go through this step, but it really is quite simple. It's like any software. You just follow the on-screen instructions for downloading it. So then we open FileZilla once it's downloaded, and we get a screen like this. Now this section here is basically all the files and folders on our computer. So if I just scroll up here, we can see our desktop and all the files and folders of our computer. And if we click into any of those files and folders, we'll see the files and folders beneath them in here in this area. And this area here is going to be our hosting account, files and folders on our hosting account. So what we've got to do first is to connect our hosting account by entering the details up here in these four boxes and clicking connect. And to do that, I'm just going to refer back to the email I got when I set up my hosting account, as it's got my FTP details. So I'll scroll down here, and here we can see my FTP publishing information. Now we can see our host name here is OpenCart2training.com, which is basically our domain name. So we're going to copy this over, and just before we put that in here for our host name, what we do is we put in FTP dot and then paste in our domain name. Now our username is our username here that we set up when we created the hosting account. So we just copy this and paste this into FileZilla here, and then we put in our password. Then finally the port number here is number 21, and then we click quick connect here. So now, as you can see over here, it's populated with the files and folders from our hosting account. Now, the place that our website is going to be stored is in the public HTML files. And then we come over to our desktop, then we locate the unzipped file, OpenCart 2.0.3.1. We click into this, and we then click into the upload folder. Now all of these folders have to be dragged over and put into the public HTML folder. So to do this, I click the top one, I hold down my shift button, I click the bottom one, and I drag them across here until I'm over this folder, public HTML. Then I let go my button and they start uploading. Now, as you can see, it'll take a little bit of time for the files and folders to upload, and while that's going on, we've got to create a database. Now, the database is where all our information, our customers, our products, etc. will be stored. So to do this, we're going to have to log into our control panel. And again, our control panel access, we can find that on the email we got when we set up our hosting account. So we just scroll down, and here it is, cpanel.yourdomainname.com. Whatever your domain name is, basically it's just cpanel.yourdomainname. So this may vary with different providers, but this is how it is with Arvix. So we just click on it and we put in our username and password again and click login. We can just dismiss this little video here. We don't need to watch that at the moment. Then we're going to scroll down until we come to databases. Now we're going to set up a database and we're going to use the wizard to do that. So we just click on the MySQL database wizard and we give the database a name. So we're just going to make it easy here. We're just going to call it shop. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to remember the full name of your database is your username underscore and then shop, because we're going to have to input this later on. So just if you remember that username underscore shop and click next. Now we have to create a user for this database. So again, the user's name is going to be the username you set up underscore and then whatever username you want to put down here. So we'll just say boss. And then you give the user here a password. My one there is actually very weak, so I suggest you give it a strong username. You can automatically generate a password here, but it's probably easier to create your own, and that way you'll be able to remember it for inputting it later on. So then we just click create user. My Chrome is asking me if I want to save the password here, so I can. It makes no odds. Now we're going to need all privileges for this user, so we just tick the all privileges tick box here and then we click next step, and as you can see now the database and the database user has been created. And now as we can see down here, all the files have been successfully transferred. If there were any failed transfers, we'd need to click on this and to try and reinstall those. But we're okay, everything is transferred, and we just go into the public HTML folder just to double check that all these files and folders are in the public HTML folder. So just click onto this, and as we can see, all our file and folders are there. So the next thing we need to do is we go to our browser and we type in our domain name, and basically what happens now is we got a 4-step process to install the software. As you can see, the domain up here has defaulted to a /install /index.php. So we can just have a quick look down at the licensing, read all that. Yeah, we're happy with that. Click continue. Make sure that we're getting a green circle with the white check mark on all of these items down here. And as we can see down here, we don't have the correct permissions on these two files here. And the path to those two files are, as we can see, it's in the public HTML folder. The first file is config.php, and then the second file is public HTML folder, and then there's a folder in that folder called admin, and then we have a similar one here, config.php. So we just got to go back and rename those two folders so that they are config.php. So back into FileZilla. And here we're in the public HTML folder, and we can see our config.php folder, but it's got a -dist on it. So we just right click on this and click rename. So we're going to delete the -dist. Okay, and the second one then was in the public HTML folder, then in the admin folder. So we click into that, and we can see the config-dist.php again. So we right click on this and rename this one as well by just deleting the -dist. Click out of that again, then back over to here, click refresh, and now as you can see they're both writable and we're okay to proceed. So click continue, and we have the database driver is MySQL. The hostname localhost, that's okay. So now the username, we'll just refresh our memory by just going back here. The username is the full username here, which is demoviz_boss. We created this earlier, so we just copy that from there and paste this in here. And then our password that we created, we put that in there. And then the database name, again, let's go back and have a look at that. That's demoviz_shop, so it's basically our username and the database name that we created earlier. And we click paste. Now we can leave our port and our prefix as is. and then we just scroll down here. Now to number 2, please enter the username and password for the administration. Now this just refers to the username and password to log into the back end of our OpenCart store once our site is live. So we can leave this at admin or change it to something. I'd recommend changing this actually to something other than admin, because if anyone's trying to log into your account, the vast majority of online backends for various sites are admin. So if someone can guess your username, they're halfway to being able to log into your account, so you don't need that. So we just create a password here. This is a very highly cryptic one I've created, 123456. I suggest you do something a little bit better than that. And then an email. So just to make sure that this email is a live email, that you have access to it. It could be a Gmail account or anything you want. You will be able to set up a domain relevant email address in the control panel, or as many different emails as you want from there. So then we just click continue, and Chrome here is asking me if I want to save my password, so I'll click yes. And it's telling us that our installation is complete, and we can go to the front end of our shop from here and the back end of the shop from here. And just underneath here there's some optional products that you can buy and join a mailing list, etc, etc, etc. There's no need to worry about any of those. But the most important thing here is the don't forget to delete your installation directory. So we'll just go and do that now. Back to FileZilla, making sure that we're in the public HTML folder, and here we can see the install. So we just click on the install and click delete and click yes for delete that. That just takes a minute to delete, and while that's deleting, have a little look at the OpenCart store that we've just set up. So here we go, it's fully set up there with all the demonstration products that are already uploaded onto OpenCart, and demonstration slideshow here, etc. Now to get to the back end of our site, we just simply put in our domain name / and admin. For you it might not be here, so you just have to type that in and put in your password and click login. So there we go, there's the back end of our store. So just a quick check back on FileZilla. Yeah, our installation directory has been deleted, so we can close this out. And that's it, we're ready to go. And just from in here you can click this little icon and you can go to your store. And this opens in a new window, so you can have the front end and the back end of your store open at the same time.